this video, we're going to briefly go over the idea of using a concrete mixing tub that you can purchase from Home Depot to grow your greens. When you purchase your tub, you're going to want to drill 6 to 10 drain holes in the bottom of the tub. You're going to notice that there's some recessed channels on the bottom. That's where I placed my holes. I believe I used a 3/8 drill bit. Notice in the back you'll see the frames of tiny greenhouses. These greenhouses I purchased relatively cheap from Aldi's or Home Depot. I believe at Aldi's are $19.99 each. Each of these particular greenhouses have the screens that you could place on the tiers that allow you to put your plants on. Before you place the screen inside the tub, you're going to want to give it some support so that it can hold the weight of the potting mix. To do this, we're going to use 1/2-inch PVC pipe. Now what I've done is I cut my PVC pipe short enough to sit between the holes that I drilled inside the recessed channels in the bottom of the tub. After placing down the 1/2-inch PVC pipe, I then take the screen and I place it on top of them with the edges facing downwards. After this, I'm going to take my landscaping cloth and I'm going to measure it out lengthwise so that the edges come up to the very top of the tub itself on both ends. After the landscaping cloth has been cut to fit the size of the tub, I then, while I'm holding one side up and the ends up, I will then start putting in my potting mix along the edges. This way it holds up the landscape cloth and it keeps it from falling down into the bottom of the tub. After you fill the edges up with your potting mix, continue to place enough potting mix to bring it up level to the edges of the tub. It's important that you understand that this particular potting mix that we're using in this container is not the same as what I use when I use my grow systems. This particular potting mix, I want to make sure that I have enough nutrients in it in order to keep my vegetables growing throughout the whole season. Of course, there are times where I will have to refeed it throughout the season, usually once or twice, depending on what the NPK is of the plant food. Now this particular mix will be using green sand, bone meal, worm casting, seaweed powder, lime, because keep in mind this was a newly made mix using peat moss, and a good aged decomposed compost, perlite. And throughout the season I'll also be using a tea compost on the foliage as well as pouring it on the soil itself. Because we're growing greens in this container, you want to make sure that your potting mix is rich in nitrogen. I have actually found that this particular setup is great for using a drip irrigation system. If you have time and the desire to do this part, you can take your drip irrigation hoses and tuck them underneath the lips and zip tie them in place using zip ties through the holes that you drilled on the edges. Then the drip hoses that actually connect to the drip heads themselves, you can actually push through the holes that are in the edges and have them laid down on top of the soil, and you can use some wire to pin them down into the soil into place where you want the moisture to leak into. You usually want this near the plants themselves. As always, thank you for watching our video. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. There'll be more videos in the future.